Let me tell you one thing. You're not even using 20% of your creativity while you're working. When you work or when you learn, you're not even using your brain properly. You're getting distracted all the time. Just ask yourself, when was the last time that you worked or when you learned properly without even getting distracted? If you were distracted throughout the work, throughout what you learned, then please watch this video because it's going to help you. Trust me. It really surprised me when my video editor friend told me this. He said after 10 minutes of working, he would open Netflix videos and he would distract himself, and then he would again start working, and then again he would start distracting himself. Surprising for me. It perplexed me actually. And on the contrary, I can work in a very non-distracted state, like for 4 hours or something, and then throughout the day I can focus for 9 hours or something. It really bothered me. And you might have a question, which is, if you focus for very long hours and then you work in a very meaningful manner, what's going to happen? The answer is, there's something called attention residue and context switching. So when you start focusing, your focus will go up, and then the distraction will cut it. Then the focus goes down. Then again, it will go up, and the distraction will cut it, and it goes on like that. But on the contrary, if you are really focusing, your focus graph would go like this. That's not the case. And the thing about attention residue is that when you imagine right now I'm speaking in front of the camera, and if I were distracted just before, the thoughts of the things that I did previously would come into my mind, or at least it is very similar to Chrome tabs. Like when you have 100 Chrome tabs open, your PC is gonna suffer, right? Maybe it's not gonna work. And if you switch off everything, your PC is going to work, right? Your mind is a PC. When you have a lot of thoughts, when you have a lot of attention residue going on in your mind, it would take your energy, it would take your focus away. When you don't do deep work, you won't be any creative. You won't create anything pretty meaningful. You won't even learn anything properly. The world has changed. Now AI is here, so anyone can replicate your work. If you don't really focus, why do deep work? That's the question. It would greatly add meaning to your life. There's something called flow state. I'll tell you a story. I taught some of my students about how to get into flow state, and I went to prepare some notes for them so that they can refer. And I started working on my notes in a mall, and it was 6:30 p.m. And after that, when I really checked the time, it was 9 p.m. and it was raining, and I completely forgot of the time. I was in the flow. I was flowing. It is very hard to explain. It is inexplicable and ineffable. So it really makes you happy. Please experience it once. And obviously now let's talk about the game, the competition that you're having if you don't do deep work. Since the advent of digitalization of jobs, anyone from different countries can compete against you. Be a very highly skilled person from America or from Britain can compete against you. Even if you are the top person in your area, it doesn't mean that you're top, because people are watching everything in YouTube. People are getting everything from Amazon, Flipkart, and now people are relying on digitalized media to get their food or everything, to watch content, to entertain themselves, to study a lot. So in order for you to be really top in what you want to do, what you're doing, please study, please learn hard skills. And since the learning has become omnipresent, there are a lot of people who can really compete against you. When I was returning from Thrissur to Irinalakuda, I met a guy. He was just 14 years old, and he was son of my previous teacher. His name was Cristiano, and I asked him something like, "Oh, your name is Cristiano, and you might be really into sports, and you might really like Cristiano Ronaldo." Then he said, "Nah." And I was like, "Okay, what are you interested in?" He said, "I'm interested in books and stuff." So I asked him which kind of books. He said philosophy. Then straight out I asked him, what is the meaning of life? the really famous question. So he said the experience of the existence. Really surprised me. He's really intelligent. for his age. Really intelligent, and he's also into science. And he also tried making the Tesla coil, and he also made a radio. So he's pretty good at what he does, and he's just 14 years old. And imagine a 14-year-old can walk over you with his skills. Yeah, that's the world. Do you want to be just a fish in the sea of mediocrity, or do you want to be the big blue whale? That's a question. So a lot of jobs are being replaced by AI. So in order to really stand out in the world of AI, you should learn AI. Otherwise, they will kick you out. That's the thing. So I think that's the reason why you should work very deeply. Okay, now I have told you why you should deep work, what is deep work, and now let's talk about how you should work deeply. So there are some certain ground rules for that. So first and foremost, when you wake up, you shouldn't waste your dopamine. You know, dopamine is a chemical that motivates you to do stuff, and it has a lot of other functions too. But in this case, that's the thing. So if you just give away dopamine for free to everybody you see on the streets, chances are you won't have any, and you will be pretty apathetic when it comes to work. You will be motivationless, driveless, purposeless. You'd be slouching yourself, you'd be sitting on couch, and you'd be distracting yourself with TV or reels. When it comes to morning, you should build up the dopamine reservoir. So just like a dam, when you have a lot of water in your dam, you have endless supply of water, and you can let the water flow through. So just like that, conserve a lot of dopamine so that you stay very energetic, very motivated throughout the entire day. So what can you do is that when you wake up, you exercise. You go out in the sunlight, do some push-ups, some pull-ups, and then you come back to your room, have a bath, then splash some cold water onto your face, then listen to some very upbeat music so that you'll be pretty energetic, and then set your intention for the day. Plan your day. This is what I do personally. And the next thing is to schedule when you're going to work. You need a long uninterrupted block of focus for your work. So please schedule, otherwise you would be doing things according to your whims. Then I have made a template which I'm going to share to you on how to do deep work. Like, it asks you some questions, and when you answer that questions, it would sustain your motivation. It asks you questions like, what exactly am I going to work on? And the answer to that question shouldn't be vague. It shouldn't be general. Just be precise. And then, why does this matter to me right now? So when you answer the why, you understand, oh, some kind of things exist like that. Then you would be very driven to achieve those. That's how it works. Why? I'll answer the whys. And what distractions might tempt me, and how will I deal with them? It is a pretty good question to avoid distracting yourself. When you get into a college and when you think of the worst possible outcomes, it's gonna make it easy for you to endure, right? So just like that, when you start doing the work, just think of the distractions that you're going to face. And then when you have those things clear, you can eradicate them. And the next question, how long am I going to focus? So when you answer all these questions, there's 4 of them, so you'll have a pretty good idea on what you should do and how to avoid distraction. And the next thing that you can do is to put a timer for yourself. And I have Alexa for that. So when you put a timer on Alexa, it would really make you feel accountable. And if you don't follow the timer, if you don't follow
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Okay, thank you for your very kind and intelligent assistance. Anyway, when you have the timer, it would make you feel accountable to finish the task. You can't get out from the field when the clock is ticking. So it makes you feel guilty of going away, absconding from the work. So it is pretty good, and it will keep you on track. And then obviously you might have answered a lot of questions. Then it is time for you to remove the distractions. So if I'm very sleepy and I have to work, sometimes I pull out the bed sheet. So it is kind of creepy, but anyway. So make your room distractionless, make it a sacred place. Ritualize this deep work. When you ritualize it, you'd feel the urge to keep on doing it. So, and when you start deep work, you can put on some great music. like, I mean, not the typical great music, but you can put on baroque music, then jazz, then some kind of instrumental music which you don't know the lyrics. And when I study personally, I hear binaural music, and when I'm working on any creative task, I would put creative frequencies. So it's kind of good. It ritualizes, it has that spiritual aura, and you would keep craving for more. Okay, now let's talk about how to handle the distractions or the distracting thoughts that might occur to you. First thing first, when you have all these thoughts, just write it down on a paper. Easy. When you feel the urge to text your crush right now, you should write it down. Otherwise, it's gonna be revolving around your head. And another thing you can do, which is idiosyncratic, is that you can let go of the emotions. I'm not talking about being a Sigma or a Stoic. I'll have to make one thing clear, which is the emotions create thoughts, then the thoughts create emotions, and it can work the other way around too. So when you let go of the emotion behind the thought, you don't have distracting thoughts. Get it? So when you feel the urge to talk to your crush, or maybe when somebody might have scrutinized and criticized you, maybe you might be feeling very passive aggressive to that person, you might be having the resentment and bitterness, just let it go. Just sit with that feeling. Just sit with that feeling like this. Just breathe for a while, inhale and exhale. Then you try to scan your body. Maybe there might be some part where you feel tightness. Maybe your heart is beating too fast. Just focus on that area. Maybe if you're angry, you'd feel your wrist it might be clenching pretty fastly, like this. And you let go of that. You let go of all these emotions. Then you're gonna be indistractable. So I think these are the things that you should follow while you're working. And okay, start doing these things incrementally. So just ask yourself, do you want to be just a fish in a sea of mediocrity, or do you want to be the big blue whale? So you have the answer, you have the resources. Thank you.